Good afternoon, Merry Christmas, and welcome to DNT News Update at 12 noon. My name is Eudora Baltram, and here are today's top stories.
Christmas is a time of great hope, Joyce Ayi encourages the public. Parliament approves 98.036 billion Ghanaian cedis for government in 2020. NPP USA Columbus, Ohio chapter elects new executives. Iraq's parliament approves new election law.
Christmas is a time of great hope. The executive director of Salt and Light Ministries has assured Ghanaians. Joyce Ayi said the season is about God's loving us so dearly, tenderly, and deciding to come into our midst to change our lives.
According to her, God chose to have the experience of living as a man to be able to empathize with mankind in their many sufferings. We must reassure ourselves, she explained, that even though life is routine, God is not. He deals with us daily in very exciting ways, she added. Christmas is marked annually on December 25 by Christians to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, their founder. Although a religious event, the day is commemorated as a public holiday in most countries. Christians use the season to attend church service, but more than that, it is a moment that brings together family members and friends. Pope Francis, speaking to thousands of people during Christmas Eve Mass in St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican, said, God loves everyone, even the worst of us. You may have mistaken ideas, you may have made a complete mess of things, but the Lord continues to love you. The BBC reported the Argentine pontiff as saying she called on Ghanaians to demonstrate love as Christ did to one another. She says a smile or sharing a meal may not cost much, but would go a long way to make others feel loved and accepted.
Christmas is an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, observed primarily on December 25th as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the world. Christmas Day is a public holiday celebrated religiously by a majority of Christians as well as culturally by many non-Christians. DNT News went out to solicit the views of the people concerning this festive season and whether or not they are aware 2019 is the year of return. Victoria Asantawa Ochiri has filed this report.
True, I know. And there's one particular word in everybody's mouth, and that's diaspora. And who is a diaspora?
A diaspora is someone whose ancestors are from a certain country.
That's what you think a diaspora is. How is the Christmas going for you?
It's okay, it's fun. And the fun hasn't started yet. We'll start from today till like next week. So yeah, I'm hoping to have a lot of fun.
Okay. Finally, give us your Christmas message to your family, to your friends.
Merry Christmas to my mom, my dad, my siblings, my friends, like everyone that knows me and everyone that I know. Merry Christmas to you all and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. They should enjoy themselves, but be very careful and then have the best of the season. Yeah.
We spoke to some diasporans comparing how Christmas is celebrated here in Ghana and in the United States, and this is what they had to say.
Who do you think a diasporan is?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should know because I am part of the diaspora. I'm from the United States, but I recently became a Ghanaian citizen, last month. My family's picture was featured everywhere because we all became citizens of Ghana, and so I'm super excited.
How is the Christmas going this year?
Well, it's a little bit different for me because I am part of the diaspora outside of Ghana. We really tend to appreciate more traditional African religions and spiritual forms. So I don't celebrate Christmas. I actually am learning more about Akan and some of the different traditional African spiritual systems. And I'm really excited because they seem really grounded and because it's something that Black people created.
In United States, were you celebrating Christmas?
Say it again?
In United States, did you celebrate Christmas?
No, I've never celebrated Christmas any day in my life.
Well, it means, our brothers and sisters outside of Ghana and Africa being invited to come back home and to, enjoy the time with us and to find their roots.
There's one word in everybody's mouth, and that's who a diasporan is. Who is a diasporan?
Well, diasporan is anybody who can trace their roots back to Africa and who are willing to help in the development of Africa.
Are you a diasporan yourself?
In a way, yes, in a way, because I come from Ghana and I live in Vienna, in Austria. Yeah.
You are a diasporan. Okay, how is the Christmas going?
It's going great, yeah, really great, yeah. It's going great.
How would you compare Christmas outside Ghana and Christmas here in Ghana?
Well, first of all, weather-wise, we are talking about a very cold part in Vienna, in Austria, in Europe, it's very cold now there. But here it's very warm. We talk about white Christmas. Sometimes they get it, but we never get white Christmas. But we may get a green Christmas, so to speak. Yeah, and many differences, but all in the same spirit of getting bonding at the end of the year. And trying to seek and get in touch with family members. So it's about the same spirit, but in different climates. Right.
Finally, give us your Christmas message to your family, to your friends outside the country here in Ghana.
Yeah, that we should love each other, we should support each other, wherever we are, whether we're in Ghana or in any part of Africa or outside, we have the same goal to get together and develop our continent. That's the message I have for you guys.
2019 is the year of return.
Something like that.
What do you think it means?
Year of return, I think it just means that people of the same root, people from Africa can come back to Africa.
Who is a diaspora?
A diaspora is somebody who is from the continent, like Africa, and lives outside of Africa. It's been a long time since I celebrated Christmas here, but I'm surprised. It's really very, it's vibrant. I can see that. Yeah, a lot is happening. Yeah, a lot is happening. A lot of when I've been coming home, but I've never seen so much happening like now. It means that it's because of the Christmas. Yeah.
How would you compare Christmas celebration outside Ghana and in Ghana?
Well, number one is the weather. It's always very cold there. And then you have snow. This is the time when there's snow, so they call it White Christmas. So I was thinking that over here this morning somebody said, oh, now we're in a brown Christmas, and I said, no, it should be green. So weather-wise, it's very hot here, but over there is cold. Another thing too is there's so many people outside here, but then over there you still do not see so many people out in the streets because of the cold. So
finally, your Christmas message to people outside the country, your family, your friends in Ghana.
They should come back home here and enjoy warm weather. Because once you're outside, there's so much you can do. And even though it's also okay to spend Christmas outside sometimes, I think if you're from Ghana or from Africa, the best thing is to come back home during Christmas, because you can get to at least run away from the cold a bit.
Moving on. The Inspector General of Police, James Opong Banu, has expressed the unflinching commitment of the Ghana Police Service to protecting every citizen without bias. Ahead of the general elections in December 2020, he said the work of the police was to protect the citizenry and country by curbing every criminal attack on citizens as well as personnel of the security.
We are committed to our mandate to protect and preserve internal securities of the country through law enforcement as part of our vision to become a world-class police service capable of delivering planned, democratic, protective, and peaceful services up to the standards of international best practice. This was contained in a speech read on his behalf by Commissioner of Police COP Paul Manley Awini, the Central Regional Police Commander, at the third public lecture and launch of Violence-Free Election 2020, put together by the Center of Awareness and Global Peace Mission in Cape Coast. It was on the theme targeting youth and leadership across the globe to achieve peace worldwide through education. The IGP charged all police personnel to change their attitude to work and be more professional in dealing with the public by being robust but within the laws in their efforts to resolve violence and in addressing unprovoking attack in the country.
The Deputy Education Minister, Dr. Ya Aduchum, says former President John Mahama is not realistic with his appraisal of Ghana's educational sector. According to him, the promises on the educational front being made by the former president are already being implemented by government.
Mahama says he would make technical and vocational education and training free at every level for Ghanaians in a live Facebook video on Monday. Aside the TVET promise, Mr. Mahama also said he will increase the amount of money given to tertiary students by government as loans and also pay it as a monthly stipend to students. Dr. Educhum, in a rebuttal during a press briefing on Tuesday, however, said Mr. Mahama has lost touch with the reality. On reviewing the double track system, he noted you cannot do free senior high school without double track. So there are two things. Either you want to lie to Ghanaians, which I don't think a former president will do, or we don't know. And that is even more serious. President Mahama does not know education and he does not have people advising him very well, and that concerns me, he ended. He, however, defended Mr. Mahama's decision to provide past questions for school libraries.
That is it for our local news. Now on to our international news. Parliament, before it rose deep in the night on Monday for the Christmas holidays, gave the government approval to spend 98.036 billion Ghanaian cedis for the 2020 financial year. The approval runs from January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020.
Out of the amount, the House approved and authorized 53.294 billion to be withdrawn to finance government operations during the 2020 financial year. This was announced in the appropriation bill, which was taken through the second reading, requesting the House to approve and authorize the withdrawals of monies from the Consolidated Fund and other funds for running of the state during the 2020 financial year. The bill repeals the Appropriation Act 2018 and authorized the withdrawal of sums of monies from the Consolidated Fund and other funds for the implementation of the budget. It was read for the first time in the House on Saturday, December 21, 2019 by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and later referred to the Finance Committee for consideration and report.
Medina Market seems to be one of the busiest markets in Accra during the Yuletide season. But ironically, the patronage is not equal to the market commuters. When DNT News' Tawfiq Abdul Nasir stormed the scene, some of the market women explained why patronage is low.
And to compare last year and this year, the Hipana say.
Last year, yes, this year.
And as a man who said Nipa Bebre about Jum, Nipa Bebre about Chrome.
3 days now, for Bajomupa. As you enter there, then you are about 3 days. And I'm a good shooting.
But your Christmas message via the customers.
The message I'm one to say, Michiam customers in Nyamia society are trained. I think from Company and do next year. I'm doing Miska. Not next year, dear. Namibia for my and see, I feel ready. I be a BBA when I'm in 70 already.
And I'm from contact. We have a lot of people presenting. As you can see, the market is choked. According to some of the traders, even though the market is choked, yes, customers are purchasing. So, is this a good year for the national market?
On to some international business. Japanese stock prices declined and Chinese markets were a little changed today, while trading in most other Asian economies was closed for Christmas Day.
Tokyo's Nikkei 225 lost 0.2% to 23,792.34, while the Shanghai Composite Index was up less than 1 off 2 points at 2,983.13. Malaysia's benchmark was down 0.6%, while Taiwan gained 12 points. Markets in Hong Kong, India, New Zealand and Singapore were closed. Wall Street ended nearly flat Tuesday in a shortened trading session before closing for Christmas Day. U.S. markets reopened on Thursday. The benchmark S&P 500 index slipped less than 0.1% to 3,223.38. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 0.1% to 28,515.45. The Nasdaq Composite gained 0.1% to 8,952.88. Investors have been encouraged by plans for an interim U.S.-Chinese trade deal, despite having seen few details. U.S. recession fears have faded after the Federal Reserve cut interest rate 3 times. The central bank appears set to keep them low for a long time. Energy markets were closed for the holiday. In currency markets, the dollar edged up to 109.39 yen from Tuesday's 109.38 yen. The euro declined to $1.1087 from $1.1089.
After the break, we'll come back with some news from the diaspora. Columbus, Ohio chapter of NPP USA retained their chairman, Reverend Samuel Sarkote, and ushered in a new crop of leaders who would assist him deliver his mandate after the substantive chairman, Dr. Alexander Aduse, was given an appointment by the President of the Republic of Ghana as a director of Kita Port earlier this year.
Pursuant to the party's guidelines, the chapter has appointed the following: Chairman, Reverend Sam Sarkodie, First Vice Chairman; Nana Ampim Dako, Chairperson; Ama Oduro Menu, Secretary; Danny Opoku Entry, Treasurer; Dr. Ben Arthur, Financial Secretary; Michael Amuakun, Women's Organizer; Ama Oduro Menu, Organizer; Nana Ando Opong, and many more. Swearing in the newly elected and appointed officers on behalf of the MPP USA branch chairperson, Mrs. Obaya Frimpong, and the Deputy Communication Director of the branch, Dr. Samuel Jumo, admonished them to be united and work hard for Victory 2020.
Up next is World News. Iraq's parliament approved a new election law on Tuesday aimed at giving political independents a better chance of winning seats in parliament.
The new law changes each of the country's 18 provinces into several electoral districts with one legislator elected per 100,000 people. It also prevents parties from running on unified lists, which in the past have helped them easily sweep all the seats in a specific province. Instead, seats will go to whoever gets the most votes in the electoral districts. Drafting a new election law has been a key demand for the hundreds of thousands of protesters who have taken to the streets in Baghdad and the predominantly Shiite South since October 1st. They have already forced Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to resign last month.
Russian emergency officials say 3 people are injured after a passenger helicopter made a rough emergency landing in Siberia on Wednesday morning.
The new law changes each of the country's 18 provinces into several electoral districts with one legislator elected per 100,000 people. It also prevents parties from running on unified lists, which in the past have helped them easily sweep all the seats in a specific province. Instead, seats will go to whoever gets the most votes in the electoral districts. Drafting a new election law has been a key demand for the hundreds of thousands of protesters who have taken to the streets in Baghdad and the predominantly Shiite South since October 1st. They have already forced Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to resign last month.
Democratic presidential contender Michael Bloomberg cuts ties with a contractor that used prisoners to make calls for his presidential campaign.
The former New York mayor said his campaign was unaware of the arrangement. Earlier Tuesday, an online news site reported that Bloomberg's campaign contracted a New Jersey-based call center company that in at least one instance used Oklahoma inmate to make calls on behalf of the billionaire's campaign. We only learned about this when the reporter called us, but as soon as we discovered which vendors subcontractors had done this, we immediately ended our relationship with the company and the people who hired them, Bloomberg said in a statement.
Up next, we'll take a look at what's trending in entertainment. Rapper Sarkodie has debunked rumors that all is not well between himself and the musician Akwoba. The artist said that Akwoba has left his label Sarkness Music. They work perfectly together even though the contract is over.
Super perfect. Nothing will ever change. Me, myself, and Akabo, how we are. I don't think anything can change.
But he's no longer with Sarkodie.
His comment comes after news sites reported that the Akwaboah and Sarkodie were not as close as they used to be. The rumors increased when Akwaboah began posting his videos on his own YouTube channel instead of the Success Music label. In an interview with Andy Dusty in November, although Akwaboah failed to disclose the details of his relationship with Sarkodie, he said they were working on their contract. Our relationship is super perfect and nothing will ever change, Sarkodie told Andy Dusty on Tuesday. The lucky hitmaker reveals that he prefers artists who have grown under his wing, stand on their own while having the freedom to do things their own way. Sarkodie explained that he needs his former signees, Akwaboah and Strongman, as much as they need him.
Super perfect.
There are certain songs, even if I write, I just send it to Akwaboah. He will touch it up and change certain things. So that relationship would never go because it's more musical than just business. We decided that Akwaboah does his stuff so that he can feel free to do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to wait on my timing or the labels to do what he wants, he added.
But again, I know they like my affiliation with them because there are certain things that they will still need me to do, which I want to keep that as well because I also want that. I need Akwaboah the same way Akwaboah needs me. There are certain songs that even if I write, I will just send it to him, he will touch it up, change certain things. So that relationship can never go because it's more musical than just business. So we decided that he does his stuff and then we still work so that he can feel free to, do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't have to wait on my timing or the label's timing to do whatever he has to do. So it's kind of like we're still continuing but a different approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
An unidentified female fan that joined Ochami Kwame midway through his performance at December to Remember left the stage in exhilaration with the rapper's shirt.
Gradually, she moved closer to the rapper, turned her back for him, bent down and positioned her beneath his abdomen. For a moment, his hands were on his head with a visibly ecstatic expression on the face. Unlike Sarkodie and Obrafo, who refused to be tempted by socialite Moesha Budon's heavy backside during their performance at Paimuka at 20, an unassuming Ochami Kwame requested for another round of racy dance, which saw the fan gyrate to the live band music amid resounding cheers from patrons. "I am dead. My wife will divorce me," he said on a lighter note. Cameramen don't record. Although the act had gone on for long, the lady would not exit the stage. She stayed for more and took off Ochami Kwame's shirt, leaving his singlet. The shirt then became her prop as she kept waving it. To the surprise of patrons, including the female dancer, Ochami Kwame went down and started a push-up exercise, signifying his readiness for the action the lady so deserves for undressing him. After 17 moves, he chased the lady, who upon foreseeing the danger ahead, ran for her life. "Ankawobete," he said. "The wit, I'd have shown you where power lies." December to Remember is a concert which has been organized by City FM for the past 13 years. Held on Christmas Eve, it has provided quality entertainment to patrons during the Yuletide and has thus been touted the official Christmas party. This year's edition came off at the Fantasy Dome and saw performances from Kofi Kinata, Kwame Eugene, Creamy, Kelvin Boy, Adina, Pryor, Dope Nation, Kiddy, Tulenke, Obiam Ponsa, and Mebusem.
We'll wrap up the news next with sports. Withdrawn Hearts of Oak coach Kim Grant is in trouble for lying about his coaching background on his resume.
The 47-year-old falsely claimed he had undertaken UEFA A coaching certificate, which is equivalent for a CAF A license, when he applied for the job in October 2019. Grant's undoing and humiliation happened when Hart insisted on having his certificate, but it kept on delaying. The club again wrote to the English FA, who confirmed seeing his name, his logbook, but the ex-Ghanaian international never had classroom tuition. Also, the Ghana FA Technical Directorate person, Francis Otia Kenten, could not confirm his claim. Grant is the bigger loser in all this, as he cannot seek compensation when he is finally dismissed by the club. The former Catalan Athletic striker has previously worked with Ghanaian side Ebusian Dwarfs and Elmina Sharks. Accra Heart of Oak have told him to step aside ahead of the start of the new season.
Our headlines once again.
Christmas is a time of great hope, Joyce Ayi encourages the public. Parliament approves 98.036 billion Ghanaian cedis for government in 2020. NPP USA Columbus, Ohio chapter elects new executives. Iraq's parliament approves new election law.
Thank you for watching DNT News, and Merry Christmas. Eudora Baltram via Atlanta, Georgia, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas in the States, and DNT a Merry, Merry Christmas from all of us here.